It's possible for us to use the tools that we have at our disposal to fight against a much, much more advanced force. Can you imagine one of these by the thousands getting lobbed at you? Gosh, that was a good one. Hey friends, welcome back. I am Jason. And with all of the stuff going on in the Middle East right now with Israel, I was reminded of a lot of biblical stories. One comes to mind, and that's David and Goliath. And I was inspired to do some arts and crafts today. And I think one of the reasons why that story of David and Goliath appeals to so many people is it's like, you know, the underdog rises to the occasion and can conquer the giant. Gonna use a bowline knot. You make a loop like so, like this. Stick a portion of line through, and then you take the tag in, stick it through. Nice and strong. I don't want much tag sticking out. I want it kind of like that. I want the other side to be about the same length, and I'm just gonna tie a knot in it so I can hold on to it. That works really good. Can you imagine one of these by the thousands getting lobbed at you? Yikes. That's cool. With just a little bit of practice, I can get fairly decent accuracy. You know, I'm hitting a generalized area. I don't think I could hit an individual man, but if I was aiming at a group, oh, they'd be putting their heads down for sure. One of those big rocks, about the size of a golf ball, up to, not quite baseball size, but I guess if you had a bigger pouch, you could probably throw bigger stones and it would stay in there more reliably. But yeah, those golf ball size rocks, something with a little bit of heft to it, is easier and more, it just seems to be easier and more to throw them more accurately. You can feel where they are in the rotation a little bit better than the small rocks. That would be devastating if you got hit with one of those. I'm easily lobbing them 100 yards without much effort. With some practice, I've seen some people that are really good at this stuff. So I watched a couple of videos. They were throwing them up to 400 meters, and that's far, with much better accuracy than what I'm doing. But I haven't practiced, obviously, the first time ever using one. But a very simple, very cheap, effective tool, and these have been used for thousands and thousands of years. I think the oldest picture cave painting of sorts that shows an image of these was like 7,000 BC, something crazy like that. So they've been used for thousands of years because they're so cheap. And if you've got rocks on the ground, the ammo is everywhere. You don't have to carry the ammo. You can put this in a pocket and carry it into the battle, and then you're armed and ready to roll. Just pick up rocks off the ground. All the issues that are going on overseas right now in Israel, it reminds me of some of the biblical stories of battles, and where people use these slings in real life to defend themselves, to defend their turf. And I think that's really interesting, because despite them not having all the money to have all the fancy weapons and fancy fancy swords, expensive swords and armor and all the stuff that other warriors perhaps had, they still were able to find a way to defend themselves. And I think I think we can learn a lot from history, and I think we can be inspired from history because of that. And just because we've got, these forces that potentially might come down upon us that have the tanks and the jets and the the drones and all the stuff doesn't mean that we can't defend ourselves. And I'm obviously not talking about using these, I'm talking about using other things. That we can learn a lot from historical records, and I think we can be inspired and we can be motivated by those historical accounts. Whether you believe the Bible is a historical account or not, it doesn't really matter. I think that we can learn a lot from it. And the fact that these have been used for thousands of years to fight warfare, to hunt, I think that I've read that they were even used to herd livestock and such. I guess you swirl one of these and whack one of the cows. they move in a different direction. But anyway, I think we can learn a lot from that. And I think a lot of people look at some of the obstacles that we might face in the future, such as, having to fight much, much higher technological forces such as drones and aircraft and all the things that go along with that. And a lot of people would look at a situation like that and say there's no possible way you could defend yourself against a force like that an unmanned drone that can sense your body heat from miles and miles away. And while I would agree that is daunting and that can be an overwhelming threat, I think that stories like this of an inexpensive, antiquated tool such as this, fighting against the more modern swords and longbows and composite bows of the time, I think tells us that it's possible for us to use the tools that we have at our disposal to fight against a much, much more advanced force. And I think that should give us hope, that should give us encouragement. I think that should help us to not live in fear. I think that is the key. And I think when it comes to survival of any kind, whether you're talking about warfare, you're talking about wilderness survival, it doesn't matter. It always comes back down to mindset. What is your mindset? If you have a positive mindset and you believe that you can win, you believe that you can beat whatever it is that you're up against, your chances of survival, your chances of success are much, much greater. So I am inspired by historical accounts of good versus evil, of the underdog taking out the giant. Whether you believe it's true or not, leave that in the comments. Is that a historical account? Did it happen? Or is it a myth? You let me know what you think in the comments. I'd like to discuss things like that. But anyway, I really do appreciate you guys watching. Leave lots of comments. Hit that thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. I can't wait to see you on the next one. I'm Jason Salyer with Survival Dispatch. As a Survival Dispatch insider, you'll be able to gain the knowledge, the skills, and equipment necessary to protect your family when it really, really matters. They'll provide crucial information on such things as stockpiling food, medical necessities, communication plans. You will receive specific, actionable plans that can deliver proven techniques to help you get home, shelter in place, or bug out safe.